We haven't done anything yet, so no applause from me. My name is Wendy Mitchell. I'm going to be your moderator today. I'm a journalist and festival programmer and host of the Screen podcast. And it's a delight to be back here at FilmFest Munich. Thank you for having me back, and I am really excited about this session. How many people have seen The Dreamed Adventure yet? Has anybody? Not many. When does it screen? We'll talk about it when they get up here. So we're going to be talking a little bit about this amazing film, The Dreamed Adventure, shot in Bulgaria near the Turkish border, a real sort of epic of our times that won the jury prize in Cannes, which is a huge achievement and a very strong year at Cannes. So we're going to be talking about that film, but also we're here to celebrate 25 years of Minitraité. Anybody want to clap for that? Anybody got their money? So, Minitraité, I think, is the slang term for it, but it's, let me just tell you, it's the Franco-German fund. It's a funding commission, bilateral, and it's between, obviously, France and Germany, so the CNC, the FFA, and I know I've seen some of representatives from both those bodies, I think, are with us today, and Unifrance is here. So we really appreciate this support for the industries to work together more closely between Germany and France. You can get up to €500,000 for production. I mean, this is serious funding. So we're going to talk a little bit about the funding, but also, of course, because we have Valeska here, we're going to talk about the creative inspirations for this film as well. Because not everybody's seen it, we won't try to spoil too much. Enough from me, and I will leave some time for audience questions at the end. So that's really enough. So let's get our special guest onto the stage, please. I would like to first call producer Jonas Dornbach, who is, I think you all know him, producer and also MD at Komplizen, which is, of course, one of the most important independent production companies in Germany. And we have the amazing writer-director, Valeska Grisebach. Thank you. We have no shortage of beverages, which is good, because you never know. So as I mentioned, we're going to talk a little bit about the Minitraité. And is that how you say it? Minitraité? Yeah, okay. We're going to talk a little bit about that, but also about the making of this really special film that I hope more people are going to be seeing this week. So we're going to talk both business and creative. Jonas, I'm going to come to you first with some of the business side, which is the Minitraité. Is this something you use a lot at Komplizen? Have you used it for many years? Have you used it for 25 years? And sort of what does it do to support from where you sit in the German industry?
Yeah, first of all, thank you really for inviting us. It's a pleasure to be here and staying in the cool and not in the hot outside. As you may know, Komplizenfilm, almost all our films are co-production, and I think most of them are actually with France. And the Minitraité in that regard is really an important tool because it's a fund that, as many of you know, you can apply it from both sides. So you apply from French and from the German side, and it's a grant that comes very early. So you don't need so much financing already in place. Yeah. So it's a fund that you can approach very early, and that really gives a really first momentum to the project. Yeah. So. Not 25 years, even though Komplizenfilm exists since 25 years, but since 20 years, we're working with them. Yeah.
Okay. And is it, I don't want to get too boring, but is it like a very straightforward application, and do you submit it jointly with the French co-producer who you're working with? You submit a joint application, or one on each side, or how does that work?
Yeah, so basically it's, both parties apply so we would apply on the FFA side, and the French partner would apply on the CNC, and it must be a real co-production. So in terms of, you really need to share some artistic elements, and in France you have this 19-point system, and it must be a co-production. Otherwise, it really doesn't make sense. So it's not a financial fund. It's a real co-production fund. Yeah.
And is it very competitive to get the funding? Because there's a lot of German films being made, a lot of French films being made.
It's quite. I mean, it's depend, but I think it's getting more and more competitive for sure. I think they're getting more and more applications as far as I get it. So we didn't get it always.
Okay. Maybe you're the guy of 25-year celebration. Maybe you're, next fundings. Very good. Valeska, I don't want to get too boring with you here, but so you had made Western that came out in 2017 with Komplizen, and I don't think that had French money in it. Did it? No.
No. We had but we had.
Oh, okay.
No, we tried. It didn't work out.
Okay. Anyway, on to the new one. The ideas for what has now become the Dreamed Adventure, when did that start for you? Was this quite soon after Western that you started thinking about this film? And when did you start talking to your producing team about the initial ideas?
I also want to thank you for the invitation. It's very nice to be here with Jonas. And I think it started while Western. I didn't know exactly what, but when we did the film in Bulgaria, there started so many relationships, friendships, and I realized how many blind spots I have when we talk about Europe. It really sounds like a cliche. I was growing up in West Berlin. I was more often traveling to the West, and even after 1989, my direction didn't change so much. And it really touched me that in Bulgaria, for example, Europe feels totally different than in Germany, and it's a little bit like a cliche, but I really had the feeling after Western, and Western is more told from the perspectives of the German workers coming to Bulgaria. That
and the men.
I have to return. I just can't come for one film and then say goodbye.
So you really felt this place in your soul. Did you know this town, this border town? Yeah.
No, this border town we had a long process of researching. So for many years, so 3 women traveling to Bulgaria, even in COVID times, and we were always close to the border. And at some point, we came to Svilengrad, and I know this is the city close to the biggest border. No, I didn't know. It's close to a big border point. But then I realized how big it is. And
I sort of went, and after I saw your film, I got really fascinated and started doing my own Wikipedia rabbit holes of this very special place and a special moment in time as well.
Yeah, but I think really the meeting with some women from this area, this was the reason to return at some point to decide that we will make the film there.
Yeah, very female-oriented, this film. I mean, there's plenty of male characters, but we're really sticking with this woman who's an archaeologist. And tell us a little bit about how the script came together. Was it all quite evident? Did it sort of pour out of you, or did it take years of sort of refining and research and talking to different people? How was the script process?
So I never start a project with a plot or only with plot fragments. So it's more like having questions or ideas, and then going out and in real conversations or to meet people and to understand better something about these questions. And I have this interest for, how do you say, male-coded genres. So I knew in the beginning that I would love to begin the film with a man, with a kind of hero we expect, this lonely adventure or his adventure, and at some point a woman stepping in. So this I knew, and some other things, but then while researching and traveling, I understood more of the project. But then, of course, at some point I have to sit and to write, and I wrote later together with Lisa Bierwirth. She's also a filmmaker. It was quite a process to write the script.
Okay. And Jonas, when Valeska brought the film first ideas of it, did you start talking during Western or right after Western about this film? And, did you... this is not an easy film to produce. Yeah, were you definitely on board? I mean, we trust this woman as an amazing storyteller, so I guess you were excited to see where she went with it. But shooting in this border town, there's no infrastructure. You know, what were your first thoughts about how it was going to be to actually make this film?
To be honest, in the very beginning, I didn't took it so serious because she really, straight after Western, she said, Jonas, I really have the feeling that there's still an untold story here and there's a jewel that we really have to bring out. And I said, yeah, of course. But I thought, okay, but after My Star, Longing, and Western, there's similarities, but they're also so different, the films. So I thought she will not go back in that region. But I was wrong. So she started to talk about this border town and that she wanted to go there for making some research, and about this female character that dives into this adventure, and there's this switch moment. So I thought, okay, it's getting serious, and it hooked me immediately. So we started our conversations, and then she started to do those research travels that were very impressive and also quite challenging. So I said, yeah, don't tell me everything, please. Yeah, just half of it is enough. But it was a really great process, and the stories, she came back, and when she started to write and show me the first pages, I was really, really hooked, and also my partners, Maren and Janine. So we said, yeah, let's do this dreamed adventure.
And when did you go to this town for the first time?
To Bulgaria?
Yeah, to the town, to the
town?
where you shot. Yeah.
Wow, it was quite late in the end. I mean, it was. Because I knew. The place where we shot Western is not so far. It's 200 kilometers more, roughly, from there. So, but it's a very different place. Really, really, completely different. So I think I went then. So the COVID 2021, end of 21 or beginning of 22, where we already were in the process of financing the film. I went there, and it was very impressive. Yeah.
And what was the path like to finance the film, and who came on board first? And some of these research trips, did you have development funding officially from anybody to help fund those? Yeah, what were the partners that came on board, and when?
Yeah, you always start and you think, okay, this time it will be easier. And then on the road you discover, no, it's not. And I don't know why it is like this, but it's always like this. So we first, of course, we talked to our partners that we had back in the days, the Chuvkov brothers. For some reason, they closed the company. So we had to rethink who would be our best partner. That was, I think, a key moment where we really did a kind of a casting, let's put it that way, where we met different producers, and in the end we decided for Miramar Film, for Mila. She's a great producer, and that was our initially start of the co-production. And then pretty soon we went to ARTE to talk to Holger Stern, because we thought this time we would love to make a Grand Accord. We knew that we would set up this with Jean-Christophe from Kazakh. It's a French partner, and that was kind of the initial part. So we got the Grand Accord. We went to the Minitraité.
Yeah.
They reduced a bit what we asked, but it was really great, because that was a kind of an initial moment really for the project. And then now I can talk about all the challenges, but I'm trying to make it quite short. The point was that then we applied for Eurimage. It didn't work out, unfortunately. So then we had to open the co-production again to another country. So we went to Austria, like we did it on Western.
Okay. Yeah.
Also, that company didn't exist anymore.
Oh my goodness! Why are these companies shutting down?
It was not our fault.
You're not driving
Western.
them out of business. Yeah, that's a different talk. Yeah.
So we approached a new company by Lixi and David called Panama Films. Super great young producers, and they were really enthusiastic, and they managed to get some funding out of Austria, because the challenging thing on such a project is that it's shot in Bulgarian language with no stars,
Yeah.
so to say, and everything was shot in Bulgaria. So there was nothing that you could say, okay, let's do a shooting day in Austria or whatever. So from that side, it's very limited how you could put the puzzle together.
Yeah.
So it was, in the end, it was a French, German, Austrian, Bulgarian co-production with a lot of small stones that all made a house in the end.
And is it all public money, or was there any private equity that came in? Did you need that? Or?
We tried in different moment to bring equity, and I think they're the one that are more looking for a red carpet, and then the other ones that are looking for a return. And it was challenging to show an easy return path on this one. But with a smaller investment persons in the end, But the almost everything is public funding in the end, and MGs from sales aid.
And I think our privilege was that we had the money from the German Film Award, so we could start in a way quite luxurious.
Was that after Western?
To make to start the research and to breathe a little bit to start. I think without that we wouldn't have.
I think that because the development and the research part takes all that time that it needs, but it was 4 years or something like this, or even more. Of course, and there you spend already a lot of money traveling and so on, but you are not financed at that moment. So we had the award money, so to say, from the Deutschen Filmpreis. We had to explain a lot why it was so high, and we had a very nice conversation. We had to go to Valeska and I to the fund and explain why we are spending this money on the board.
I forgot that.
It was such a funny meeting. It was one of the best meetings I ever had.
Because it seemed like, quote unquote, a foreign film, I guess, or just...
Yeah, but it's because, let's say, the project didn't feel, or it's challenging to put it in so to say, in a box, because there's no proper script. It takes all this proper script. It's a script, but it's not the script like it's a treatment, no? So, we could not tick the boxes, so to say. Right. So we had really to explain why she's traveling and why it's take all that conversations and so on. It was interesting.
Okay. So how many years, has it been sort of 8 or 9 years to get the film made, or is it, I mean, not every day of every 9 year, but that's how long you've been thinking about it and trying to start it?
I think, but I knew this would be long, because as a German filmmaker, to make a film in Bulgaria was for me full of doubts, if I'm allowed to make a film there, and it was clear that research would be really important, and to create this ensemble and this group of people to make the film. And then of course it was also the financing took some time. I don't know if we also had to postpone, but I think it was, so in the end I expected that this would take years. I think in the end it's quite normal.
And I guess there's any tax incentive or anything in Bulgaria? No. Not yet. Not yet.
We actually there is a tax incentive, but we don't know how that works.
Okay. All right. But I wanted to ask that question to both of you during this conversation about who is allowed to tell what stories. We hear about this a lot, and when I see this film, I just think it feels so authentic to a place and a people that I didn't know before. And clearly through all this research and meeting these people, you have taken that on. But how did you sort of get to the point where you're like, I am allowed to go to Bulgaria and tell this story from the Bulgarian perspective, not like with Western when it was more about the Germans going to Bulgaria. But how did you convince yourself too, and you too, Jonas, like that we're allowed to tell this story in a beautiful way?
I think for me very helpful was the real, in the situation with the people at the spots. So then it was like flying away my doubts. And one starting point of the project was when I talked to people from my generation who were young at 1989, and they lived or survived the 90s in Bulgaria, that they had so totally different experiences and memories than me. And that I thought, okay, we all are influenced by this changing 1989. We are connected in a way, but at the same time we are so separated because of these very different experiences. And another thing was when people told me this was a male time, a time like in war in the 90s, not a time for women. Of course, this is also only narration, and there are many other narrations. But this was for me a starting point for the project, and for me was helping also to think I am also part of this narration between West and East, and that the East is maybe more looking to the West. I'm also part of this echo until today, and I think this was helping, and also, of course, the courage the people in Bulgaria gave me, and they said, okay, let's do it. Yeah.
Also, I mean, it has to be said, you're a very good filmmaker. And, you know, Western had a lot of positive response, so I'm sure that helps people maybe say, we trust this woman to tell a story, right? I mean, when you're pitching it. Yes, we do.
No, I think for me it's interesting that I think there are some how do you say, challenges I have in the beginning of almost every project. This is maybe connected to this, that there's no classical script. And I'm really looking forward maybe to the situation that people have more trust to a project.
Yes, that sounds nice. Take a few more risks. Yeah. I wanted to talk about the casting, and I need to look up her name because she is extraordinary. Jana Radeva plays Valeska, and she's just, I mean, one of the faces I will remember from this year on screen, one of the best performances of the year in my book, and she is not a trained professional actress. So how did you find her? How did you cast her? How did you work with her as well?
We did a huge casting, also for, I don't know, 3 years, and there were a lot of great women, and it was also, I learned so much of them, we all. And Jana, she was, I don't know, she was working on a Christmas market and helping a friend, and so this was not, I wasn't meeting her, it was somebody else, and then she came, and then it was quite quick, clear that she could be very, very interesting. But we have this long process of casting just to get to know each other better, that she also can get a feeling and we can get a feeling. But it was so moving for me. I don't know the English word for Hingabe. Devotion. So it was a decision at some point. She was so full of courage and also devotion to say, okay, I'm playing now. And for me, it was really, in an interview in Bulgaria, she was asked how was it for her. She was a geologist, she was a manager of casinos, she was a farmer, so very different things. And somebody asked her, how was it for you now to act? And she told, it was like I was doing that always before. And I really, this was not a cliche, I really understood why she was saying that. And so we had rehearsals, but more like relationships, not really the scene. Sometimes
not reading through everything over and over.
But and everybody's different. She was not so much while shooting for rehearsals. Other maybe need more rehearsals, so it's a mix.
Yeah, because you use a lot of non-professionals in some of the other roles, which I know you did on Western. And why do you love doing that?
I think it comes out of the process of the projects. And I think for me, filmmaking has to do so much with not knowing. I know some things, but I know many things I don't know. And so it's always this confronting fiction with reality and to get in contact. And I think there's, for me, until now, it's quite logical out of this research to start to, that we are ensemble, and at some point we start to act. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. And Jonas, for you as producer, you know, on the good side, you don't have to like negotiate with CAA, I guess, to get these people. But what sort of, shooting in this place that doesn't have infrastructure, and then also with a lot of non-professionals, does that change the way the whole production is run from your side?
I don't know. I mean, in the beginning, when we told people that we would shoot in Svilengrad, everybody was, what? Why there? I mean, there's so many great places in Bulgaria, but why would you go there? So, and I think also for filmmakers and the crew members, I think it's a very remote place also for them. And it's a very special place, and it was a thin line, I think, to navigate, because on the one side we needed a lot of support from the local infrastructure. On the other side, it was clear that we should not be this big production from Germany with Bulgarian partners, Miramar Film coming there, and people would think, okay, no, they have a lot of money, and let's ask for and so on. So that was very challenging, and of course we knew that this time we would work with way more crew members from Bulgaria. On Western, I think it was almost half kind of, but on this film, as it was entirely shot in Bulgarian, it was also clear that the crew would be way bigger. So there was, of course, Bernhard Keller, the DOP from all the film of Valeska, that was coming from Germany, and Lisa and some technical crews, but most of the crew was Bulgarian. And I mean, Valeska speaks perfectly, from what I hear, perfectly Bulgarian. But yeah, for the rest of the crew, then of course it's always challenging. How do you communicate on the set and with the people and with the actors and so on and so on? And yeah, so it was an adventure.
And how long was the shoot? Number of days or weeks?
I mean, we shot 46 days in 24, and I think another 6 days in 25. So Valeska always had in mind that, and we did the same in Western, that we would shoot the film and then we would go in the editing room with Bettina Böhler, that is an amazing editor, and then we would re-go there for a couple of days and to shoot some missing parts, and then we always discuss about how many days, and it's a long discussion, and then we do it like Valeska wants.
What was the editing process like for this film? Because it's quite a long film, which I'm going to ask you about in a minute, but there's so much. It just feels like I'm living in this play. I just loved the length of it and how it flows, but it's a film, and again, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's got some elements of crime and like gangsters kind of, but it's also sort of a slow burn about relationships and women's roles. And how, did it take a while to get the edit right?
It took a while, and I was really myself surprised that the film would be so long. And in the beginning, I was a little bit embarrassed, and I thought this is like Gone with the Wind, and why is the film so long? And I think we tried always shorter, but at some point, because the material has its own logic in a way, and even, of course,
I think it earns it. It earns this time to me.
At some point, it was the film has its own body or life and says hello to you. And but of course, when you are editing, you try to find again the construction of the film, and the material gives at some point the rhythm. I think Bettina and me, before we wouldn't know this is the rhythm of the film, but then while editing the film. And so, we have the ritual that I start with the raw editing, and then she's a little bit alone, and then we work together. And this is for me a really magical and beautiful moment, because we don't talk so much about cuts. It's more like that we more talk about subtext, and she is really for me magician. So how she translates this into editing. And of course it was always because the script was this mix from plot fragments and atmosphere, and to keep the suspense in the air, and this then while editing again the try to find the right rhythm for that.
Yeah, because it's got to keep the sort of suspense of the genre bits of it, but then it's really characters that we're caring about and the sense of place. And I mean, every scene that's people sat around a table in their garden having a drink, I just loved. They just felt so real. But, you know, I do think a lot of films these days are too long. I was scared to see your film at Cannes, I have to say, and I've seen it since before I came here. But because in Cannes I was like, I don't think I can handle a long film because my brain is tired. But when I did watch your film, I was like, it has earned the running time, and in fact I could have had more because it gave me the time to get into the rhythms of this place, and yeah, I just felt like I could sit here with these people a little bit longer, which is I mean that as a compliment. But, you know, did the sales company, any of the co-producers say, can we get an 88-minute cut? You know, like, did everybody understand that this was going to be a longer film? And you know, how have audiences, I mean, it won the jury prize in Cannes. The jury loves it, you know. We can take long films when they earn it, I guess, is my point.
Yeah, I think, I mean, if you see Valeska's previous film, they're all relatively short, so they're around 100 minutes, 90 minutes. So I think we when we started, that was the idea to make a film around 100 minutes, I mean, we saw it many times in the editing room, and there were also some moments where we really panicked because we then really tried hard to shorten it, and then somehow this whole construction really fall apart, and the film felt so strange and really didn't work. So there were really moments where we were sitting together and panicked. So in that room and said, okay, what went wrong? So we went back to so to say the older version. The good thing was that the match factory was very early on board, and we were a little bit scared when we showed. Not scared, but we were sort of, okay, now we showed to Michael Weber. So we said, okay, let's see how he will react, and he was super happy, no? I mean, I think he was really embraced it, and he doesn't like so much long film, I think, and he really went for it. And then we showed it also to Holger Stern from ARTE, and he also, I think, now you can contradict Holger, you can say, no, it's not true, Jonas. But and Barbara Hebe, so they really went all for the lengths, and that really encouraged us.
Fermot liked it, you know. So, yeah. Terry Fermot liked it as well, so that's a big vote of confidence. Yeah, how do you feel about taking it to audiences now and having more? Do you get sort of nervous at this moment? Does that Cannes Award really help you boost the international profile? And when are you screening here? Maybe you can remind us for people who haven't seen it. Do you know? Is it?
No, I'm really looking forward.
Okay.
Because in
to meet the normal audience.
Yeah, really to meet the audience. I'm really looking forward to the Bulgarian audience.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because I'm expecting discussions, and I'm also, I'm really excited for that. And yeah, I think tonight is the premiere.
Oh, tonight.
Yeah,
okay, good.
Contact with the audience.
Yes,
which is really beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, I think tonight here in Germany. So let's see how people will react. 8:30 in the Rio, and it will be released end of September in Germany, and it will be released in France already on July 15th.
Oh, yeah.
There's a premiere on July 6th in Paris, and Haute Cour is our distributor, and they're going quite wide out, so they're very confident that it will work. So let's hope.
Yeah, I guess just with a film like this, when you were making it in Bulgaria, you mentioned, you spent a lot of time in this town, you talked to a lot of people. Were they very helpful? Did they sort of understand the story you want to tell? And we do have the distance of time with this film. It's not about this place today. But it's not only a positive light that we're seeing about some of the people in this film. So were they helpful? Were they excited for this film to be made? Were they a bit skeptical that you're coming in and maybe showing not only the nice parts of the society, that, you know, there was some ugly past and maybe present, I don't know. Were they, is that something you had to navigate, or did people just sort of understand this is one story?
I already have a bit desire to Svilengrad. No, it was really for me, and I think I would say to Jonas, I think there's still something we have to do there. Yeah. No, but I mean, of course, while researching there for, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years, so we found a lot of friends and supporters, and we, of course, also went a little bit in the officially shady world, but yeah. we understood much more about the border, and for us, traveling there was also almost like a series, because we more and more secrets of the town came to us, but we had really friends and supporters, people who are working for the border as translators, or so it was really. I think when then the team arrived and the production, so we had really a strong how do you say, networking system, which was very helpful for the film. Yeah. And of course, there are always people maybe who are not so happy with making a film.
Yeah. Well, that's going to happen anywhere. It's drama, you know, we need the drama. And Jonas, what are there French elements that you need? Can you tell us about that, sort of the side with the Minitraité that was French?
Yeah, so yeah, we brought some crew members from France. We had Sabrina, our art director. She's an amazing person. She grew up in Bulgaria and lives in Paris, and is a force of energy. And
Tsunami was her nickname.
Okay. Really, it's so impressive. What she made in those short terms, short timings, and she was really an asset for the film. And Valeska, when you met her, I think you were really immediately hooked by her energy, and also then she had a crew over there with all men, I think, and she really tackled them, and they made it. We did part of the post-production in France, so we did the whole grading with Peter, an amazing person that we already worked on Spencer film that we did, and he's really an amazing person for light and grading and everything. And yeah, so I think that were the most important elements. And yeah, with Jean-Christophe, I think he was also very helpful in the process of the project. On the editing, he gave some very good advice. We did with him also Gentle Monster film that is also screened here, and yeah, we did with him IOU, also film that was supported by the Minitraité and Corsage, and yeah, so it was a nice collaboration again. Yeah.
And it seems like the French and the German industries can work quite well together. Is that your impression? You know, I come from the UK, of Brexit land, and our paperwork is totally different than the rest of Europe, and you know, but these systems kind of work well. An appreciation for cinema, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we always look a little bit towards France because it's for us is always the reference cinema, in a way, and we're always a little bit jealous. But in terms of collaboration, I think it's really similar, and apart, of course, there are also differences, but I think we really connect in the film industry very well, and we love really to work with our partners in France, and it's always a good collaboration.
I just thought I would check before we end if anybody has a question. Yeah, we've got, is that a hand up? Do we have a microphone or no? Do you want to shout? You could shout and I'll repeat it into the mic. Oh, it's coming. Thanks.
I only want to add something because I'm the head of the feature film department in Strasbourg, ARTE, and I only want to go back to this French and German success story, which is as well the Grand Accord, and the Minitraité, of course, which we are celebrating. But I want to underline the beginning of Valeska's project in the Grand Accord, because the French in this, you know, that's we have 6 in a year, so it's not so much. We have 6 in the year, and it's financed part and part of France and Germany. So I remember the day when we have had Western in certain regard in Cannes in the selection, or it was in the competition, I don't remember. Certain, voilà. And I remember that the French people were so impressed, and they were really thrilled about this film, and they said, well, why didn't co-produce with this film? And so we loved Valeska from the beginning. We know her film Sehnsucht, etc. So it's many stations of her short films as well on the German side. And so then it came up with Western, and it was in evidence that the next project of Valeska should be done with the French and German. So there was really Olivier Père, director of ARTE France Cinema, and we have in the Grand Accord this discussion about Valeska, and we are so happy about her way of filmmaking, what she's storytelling, what she's doing, but because she's unique, how to say. And that I want to underline this because we have not so many German projects in the Grand Accord. We have very lot international. And so Valeska is one of the really big German projects. We have Maria Schrader, for instance, but not so many German, and we have to put out new talents as well, but Valeska, I can say that it was so supported by the French side that I was really happy about this. And I want to underline that it's really, everybody have to see this film and to have to talk about it, because it's a really big adventure to see this film. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
And Valeska, from the creative side, do you even notice that you've got French participation in this project? Do you talk, are you a fan of French cinema? We should have asked.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And of course I remember that. From my perspective, it was because when we started the project, we had always our meetings, and Jonas said, this will not be easy, Valeska. Don't have too much hopes to the financing of this film or the funding of the regions. It's Bulgaria, and there's so many people who ask, okay, where's Bulgaria? And then in Bulgarian, and it was really so, the expectations were really low. And I remember when we got the funding, it was really a very happy day, and like, okay, so there are people, how do you say, recognizing us or the projects. This was really beautiful.
Wonderful. I think I've been told we're out of time, but I want to, or is there one more? Did somebody want to?
Thank you. My name is Lilian. I have a question. What was the overall budget? And also language-wise. Unfortunately, I didn't see the film yet. I'm going to see it, hopefully. And language-wise, so it's shot in Bulgarian. And how do you approach the audience in France and Germany? Do you have a synchronization or
dub or subtitle or? Yeah.
So one is the budget and one is the language. Thank you.
I think the first budget was that we saw was 3.2, and then it went up, and now we are at 3.8, I think 3.850 or something. That was because of the process, because things were underestimated, it was a long journey. And yet the synchronization. In Germany, of course, it will be synchronized in German. That's like this.
A pity.
Yeah, and in French it will be shown in a original language with French subtitles.
Has it started selling well to other territories?
Yeah, it sold to Italy, to Greece, to Portugal, to Belgium, to the States.
Oh, the States.
To the States, yeah.
Who's doing the US?
Jonas film.
Okay.
Yeah. So, other Criterion, yeah. And there's some other countries in discussions, not yet signed, but it's
only been
happening.
a few weeks since Cannes, really.
Yeah.
So.
No, but it's really, it was sold. I mean, the Match Factory was super happy, and it really, even before we got the award, it was already a lot of interest. And
Great. I do think we have to wrap on time. Sorry, everybody. But I want to congratulate the CNC and the FFA for this very useful funding program that allows films like this amazing one get made. So congratulations on the French-German co-production of that, and congratulations on your really amazing collaboration across 4 countries, at least. And I can't wait for more people to see it tonight at the Rio, right? Thank you so much for being here. Thank you.
Thank you, and thanks for coming.